One letter changed everything. This is not the story of generals, maps, or politics. It's the story of a boy, a girl, and a promise written in ink. A promise that refused to die. His name was Thomas Whitmore. He was 23, and somewhere in the ruins of Europe, he held a letter close to his heart, not because it could stop a bullet, but because it made him believe he could live through one asterisk, my dearest Emily. If you're reading this, I'm still here, still breathing, still dreaming of your face. Sometimes that's all I need to keep going. Asterisk Thomas wasn't a hero. He hated war. He loved poetry and Sunday mornings and Emily's smile, but fate had other plans. It sent him far from London, into the mud and blood of a world falling apart. Each morning he woke up wondering if he'd ever see home again. Each night he wrote, "One more letter, just in case, asterisk, they say real men don't cry. But if they saw what I saw today, they'd understand why I keep writing you instead of writing history." Asterisk that night he tucked the letter deep in his coat. He didn't know it yet. But that small piece of paper would soon be the most powerful thing he ever touched. Asterisk before the war, Thomas wasn't a soldier. He was a literature student. A man who believed in books, not bullets. And he believed in one thing more than anything else. Emily Hargrove, asterisk, to the girl who made the stars look dull, if I must go, promise me you'll wait. Asterisk, they had no wedding, no vows, just a promise written in poetry, and sealed with a kiss at the train station. War tore Thomas from her arms, but it couldn't erase her from his heart. Asterisk, Emily, the bombs shake the ground, but it's your name that keeps me steady. They say letters are a luxury out here, I say they're survival. Asterisk, every week he wrote her pages filled with fear, hope, and dreams of home. But on one dark morning, as he handed the letter to a field officer, something happened. Asterisk, double quote, no, no. That was her letter. That was the one. Asterisk, the letter never reached her, and Thomas would never be the same. In a war full of losses, this was the one that hurt the most. Because it wasn't just ink and paper. It was his last promise. Gone in smoke, asterisk, while Thomas fought in the mud and fire of war, Emily lived in a different kind of battle, one made of silence. Weeks passed, then months. And not a single letter arrived. Asterisk, maybe the post is slow. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe he's gone. Asterisk, every morning she waited for the postman. Every afternoon she found nothing. But she didn't stop writing. Asterisk, my darling Thomas, I don't know if you're still out there, but I still see your face every time I close my eyes. I still believe in the boy who said the stars look dull next to me. I still believe in us. Asterisk, she sent her words into the unknown, hoping, praying that somewhere he was still reading. To escape the waiting, she joined the Red Cross, not for glory, but for purpose. To do something, anything, while the world crumbled. But every quiet moment, her mind returned to one thought. Asterisk, where are you, Thomas? Asterisk, she didn't know it yet. But across the sea, a fire had taken something from her, a letter lost in smoke. A promise turned to ash. And still, she kept writing. Asterisk, after the explosion, Thomas stopped writing. Not because he had no words, but because he was afraid they'd never be read. The war hadn't killed him, not yet, but it had stolen his voice. Asterisk, still no letters from your girl? Maybe she moved on, mate. They all do. Chuckles. Then sighs. Can't blame them, can we? Asterisk, Thomas said nothing. Not because Jenkins was right, but because deep down a darker thought had taken root. What if she'd written? What if her words burned too? Asterisk, no letters, no telegram. Just silence. Asterisk, she kept writing, even without replies. Even when her mother said to stop. Asterisk, mother, of screen. He's gone, Em. You need to face it. Asterisk, but she wouldn't stop. Because love doesn't vanish in silence. It waits. It fights. It believes. Asterisk, to the girl I may never see again. I still hear your voice when the bombs fall quiet. And if I don't make it, I want you to know, loving you was the only part of this war that made sense. Asterisk, he never sent that letter. He folded it, tucked it into his coat, and carried it with him like a shield. The war raged on. The world burned, and still, two hearts waited in silence. Asterisk in a war of bullets and bombs. It wasn't a soldier who found the letter, but a boy with no gun, no orders, just curiosity. Asterisk. Papa, it's English. A soldier's letter. Should we throw it away? Father, off screen. No, my son. Take it to the Red Cross. Maybe it belongs to someone. Asterisk, and so the letter began. A journey across ruined towns, through checkpoints and train stations, past uniforms and barbed wire, guided only by chance. And hope. Asterisk, it had no return address, no stamp, just one name. Emily Hargrove. Asterisk, to the girl I may never see again. I still hear your voice when the bombs fall quiet. Loving you was the only part of this war that made sense. Asterisk, months of silence. Shattered by a voice from across the sea, a letter. Believed. Lost in fire had survived. And with it so did hope. Asterisk, she had waited long enough, now she would go find him. Not because she knew where he was, but because the letter told her he was still out there. Asterisk, Emily had no map, no certainty, just a name. And a letter that refused to die? She searched hospitals, field camps, refugee stations, asking one question again and again. Asterisk, please. I'm looking for a British soldier. His name is Thomas Whitmore. Asterisk, there is one man, we call him the poet. He writes even in fever. Asterisk, he was thinner, his eyes sunken. But the moment she heard his voice, she knew. Asterisk, stars looked dull. Next to you? Asterisk, still writing those silly verses? Asterisk, his eyes opened slowly, dreamlike. He saw her face, not in memory, but in front of him. Asterisk, Emily, I thought I lost you in the fire. Asterisk, you didn't, you found me through it. Asterisk, he didn't win the war, he didn't stop the bombs. But he survived, because of one letter, one voice, one promise that refused to burn. Asterisk, years passed. Wars ended, soldiers returned, some whole, many broken. But some stories lived longer than memory. Asterisk, to the girl I may never see again. Loving you was the only part of this war that made sense. Did you write this, Grandpa? Asterisk, I did, and she read it, just in time. Asterisk, the letter didn't stop bullets. It didn't change governments or end treaties. But it brought a soldier back from the edge. It lit a fire in a girl who had lost hope. And it proved, in a world full of destruction, words still had the power to save. Asterisk, come back to me, and if you can't, let my words find you instead. Asterisk, wars are remembered for their blood, their victories, their pain. But hidden beneath the headlines are letters like these, quiet, fragile, undeniably powerful. Asterisk, inspired by thousands of real letters lost and found during war, because not all heroes carry guns. Some carry ink. Asterisk, this was the letter that changed. A war, asterisk, moral of the story, in a world torn apart by violence. It wasn't a gun, a bomb, or a general that changed everything. It was a letter, a simple message from one heart to another. This story reminds us that even in the darkest times, love can endure, words can heal, and hope, no matter how fragile, can survive war, fire, and silence. Because sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference. Asterisk,